Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch.
Construction begins on the River Valley Access Project.
A glass railing and built-in seating will offer just these amazing views of the River Valley and the River Queen and the whole area surrounding you.
Park and ride users will be saying goodbye to the morning rush and hello to paid parking stalls in the fall.
I'd rather go to the event and just pay one time instead of twice.
And new vibration technology is shaking up the healthcare industry.
We're hoping that this device will fill a gap in terms of knowing what the spine does function.
NewsWatch starts now.
Good evening. If you've never heard of the term funicular, well, then you're about to.
The funicular is part of a new project to connect the downtown to the river valley near the low-level bridge, and to let Edmontonians of all abilities have access. Our reporter Randy Marie Adams joins us live from our news center with more on that story.
The project not only includes a mechanized access, but also a widened staircase, a bridge, and a lookout, which will allow more Edmontonians to experience nature in the downtown core. The view of the river valley up towards the Hotel Macdonald is about to change. Nature and old wooden stairs will soon be giving way to a modernized and hip new project that will introduce a high-tech glass enclosure tramway of sorts that will ferry people of all abilities between the downtown and river valley.
The glass-enclosed funicular will descend from the top of the bank to a promenade above the river valley. The funicular will fit up to 20 people and can accommodate bikes, trailers, strollers, and specialized equipment like wheelchairs or mobility scooters.
The River Valley Alliance was the main contributor in this project, giving the city $72 million in 2013 for this and 4 other projects around the Edmonton River Valley. There were some obstacles that slowed the project, but construction started this week. Although the $24 million project was approved last June, the mechanized River Valley access only received environmental approval last month. Both provincial and federal governments are also contributing money to the funicular, which is set to be finished by spring of next year.
We wanted to keep the operational costs to an absolute minimum, so we picked a system that's basically like an elevator. It will not need an operator. There's a whole safety study that's been done of it, so it'll be very safe to use, because that I know is one of people's concerns.
All of the sort of entryways from downtown to get into the river valley right now are extremely steep. I have tried literally every single one from downtown, and they're somewhat scary to get down at the grade that they're at right now, so I think this will be very helpful.
As the project gets underway, the city has further plans to revitalize boat launches and create space for active play, social engagement, and relaxation.
Randy, you mentioned the city would revitalize further. What else do they have planned for this project?
Well, in total, the project would see 7 docks built or refurbished with 2 hand launches and 1 vehicle launch added in current park facilities.
Randy, is this something that Edmonton has seen before?
Actually, no. In 1908, Edmonton had an incline railway which would carry a team of horses for 15 cents and foot passengers for 5 cents. So fun little fact there for you guys.
Thanks, Randy. That's Randy Marie Adams reporting live from our news center tonight.
NAIT NewsWatch, the next generation in news.
The Alberta NDP have started their second session as government. They outlined their goals for the province in light of the current economic downturn during Tuesday's speech from the throne.
As I speak, we are facing another deep slump in the international price of oil.
Immediately following the throne speech, opponents were quick to comment on the government's perceived failures so far.
I think the government has to understand that they need to create the environment and the framework under which business can create jobs and grow the economy. This government has actually done the opposite.
The government's plan for the upcoming session is to diversify Albertan energy markets, invest in a more sustainable and environmentally friendly economy, responsibly manage public finances, and pursue democratic reform.
Mayors from across the province met with the government officials to discuss the future of Alberta. At the top of the agenda was the Energy East pipeline. Go East! Go East! Premier Rachel Notley was at the event to stress the importance of getting Albertan oil to new markets.
When people in other jurisdictions think that by blocking oil transfer from Alberta that they're somehow making an environmental decision, that they need to actually understand that what's happening is that they're not reducing their reliance on oil. All they're doing is they're bringing it in from a different place, and they're doing it in a way that actually doesn't help their national economy.
Notley encouraged the mayors to promote their eastern counterparts and the economic, environmental advantages of buying Albertan oil.
If you use Park and Ride, expect to pay more for the service come September of this year. City Council is now looking at plans to convert more free spots into paid ones in an effort to limit the demand for a short supply of stalls. There are currently 18 LRT stations, but only 4 of those offer Park and Ride options. Over 3,500 people are on a waiting list for a new stall. The idea of paying more to park and then buying a bus or LRT pass is something some transit users want to avoid.
So yeah, you got to look at everything, especially in the economy that we're in right now. Yep.
Currently, drivers pay $42 a month to park in a city parking lot if they can find a stall. If approved by council, that will go up and motorists may pay an hourly rate. The city is still looking at partnerships with rec partners and businesses.
Spring seems to have come early to Edmonton this year, and that means that the city can get an early start on the road maintenance. Having already filled 100,000 potholes this season, the city is taking advantage of the warm weather and low snowfall.
We are doing some early work. We caution people because it looks like spring, but it is still winter. And while we're cognizant that it could snow tomorrow, we do want to get out there and do some meaningful work.
The city is using the money saved from removing less snow this winter to pay for the early spring maintenance.
It was all about girl power down at City Hall on Tuesday for International Women's Day.
But feminism isn't a trend.
According to Statistics Canada, for every dollar a man makes, a woman with the same job makes only 73.5 cents. And the Global Gender Gap report by the World Economic Forum reports that it will take 81 years for the gender equality gap to close.
It means creating a world where who does the housework, who gets to play for the Oilers instead of just cheer on the sidelines, who gets hired for management positions, is determined by skills, need, or desire, not by anatomy.
After the speeches, you were encouraged to take the pledge for parity. If you want to make a pledge, visit internationalwomensday.com/pledge.
This week being all about gender equality and the right of females, Minister Stephanie McLean announced that she'll be focusing on the increasing economic security of women. With the price of oil sitting as low as it is and how dependent Alberta's economy on oil, it makes jobs not only difficult to find, but also to hold on to. With the workplace gender equality still being an issue, Minister Stephanie McLean
to ensure women's voices are heard, their diverse voices, whether it be in childcare or transportation policy. This government
The Women Building Future Society will continue promoting women in the trades and teaching the required skills for the jobs. If you're looking to joining the program, you can visit womenbuildingfutures.com.
A new technology from a University of Alberta professor can detect spinal injuries without the use of an MRI.
For the most part, MRI doesn't tell us too much about back pain and back pain problems. So we're hoping that this device will fill a gap in terms of knowing what the spine does functionally and when maybe it's not performing as well as it should be.
The device uses vibrations to find the source and potentially the type of back injury a patient is experiencing. Due to its fast and simple use, Kachuk says it could help reduce wait times in the hospital.
It can help screen people to tell them, no, go over here first, or let's do this first, and maybe we can get through the people who have back pain a little more effectively.
A clinical trial of the vibration technology will need to take place before it becomes available to the public.
A new real estate company is looking to make house hunting more fun and efficient. The matchmaking people are the perfect home. Home Tribe Match is a real estate team that matches consumers to their homes based on their lifestyle. The online matchmaker asks a series of questions about their lifestyle and then matches them to the homes and explains why those particular homes are better to buy.
So we're trying to see, can we give them homes or properties that maybe they wouldn't normally think about or consider. We were really blessed though. We've gotten a lot of support from the federal government through an IRAP program in which we got funding to develop this.
The online matchmaker asks a home buyer about the living needs like neighborhood safety, family dynamics, education level, proximity to work, public transportation, and cultural diversity.
Coming up after the break, we'll talk about healthy eating
and how proper nutrition is important to the student's life.
We really need volunteers for puppy raising.
I'm Ben Blanchette, coming up in sports. I have Oops and Oil Kings highlights, and I try airsoft.
I'm Randy Marie Adams, and after this break, I'll tell you all about the weather and the fact that you have to turn the clock forward an hour this weekend.
This warm weather we've been having makes me just want to kick up my heels and hang out on a patio on White Ave.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been driving around with my windows down, the sunroof open, but Randy Marie Adams will tell you more about your weather forecast.
Ryan, I want to see you kick up your heels. Anyways, if you haven't noticed the beautiful weather outside, you might want to crawl out from under your rock and enjoy some of that sunshine and get some vitamin D in you. We'll start off in Calgary. We have a high of 10 and a low of 2 and mainly sunny all day, which is great. Heading off to Jasper, we have a high of 7 and a low of 1 with a mix of sun and clouds in the afternoon, but hey, great chance for you to work on that goggle tan. Fort McMurray, we have a high of 6 and a low of 1 with a 60% chance of either rain or snow, but it will still be pretty warm for you folks anyway. Edmonton, we have a high of 7 and a low of -2 with a 30% chance of rain or snow late afternoon, early evening. But I think it's safe to say you can dust off those flip-flops as the forecast for the upcoming week is way above seasonal temperatures. Our averages are a high of 1 and a low of -7, so we're sitting pretty good in the capital city here. On to our records. So in 1910, we had +14. And in 1906, -38. Brr! Thank goodness we had Super El Nino this winter. I really appreciate the weather. Well, that's been your look at weather for Sunday. Another sign that spring is just around the corner. That's right, folks. Spring it forward. Don't forget to roll those clocks forward an hour tonight as we lose an hour and we gain more daylight. Back to you, Brian and Chelsea.
NAIT NewsWatch Weather is brought to you by NR92, the station for the students.
With March being Nutrition Month, we take a look at how students struggle to get proper nutrition while in school.
A dietitian shares some tips on how to incorporate healthy habits into your students' busy life. Sydney Peach reports.
A lot of students are living on their own and are away from home. With everything that students have to balance, it makes it difficult to prepare healthy meals and get the proper nutrition. Dukarin Bonnick is a NAIT International student from Jamaica who's been living on his own since August. He shows the struggle of trying to maintain a healthy diet while balancing school, work, and volunteering.
I can make my own food, but I don't really have much time. What I mostly eat is like fast food from the common market or McDonald's.
Bonnick is still adjusting to the change of food from Jamaica to the food available in Canada.
Most of the stuff I could get back home used to grow in our backyards, and then coming here, it's really expensive to get tropical stuff.
A dietitian from Alberta Health Services shares some tips on how to maintain a healthy diet while being a busy student.
Trying to find some time on the weekend or any time when they have a day off to do bulk cooking. For budget-friendly options, canned and frozen food is a really good place to start.
A poor diet doesn't only affect your body and health, it also limits your ability to perform properly in school.
I don't feel the same way here. I feel a lot low gear and I always feel like lazy, like I'm lacking some nutrients.
We look and feel so much better when we eat healthy, and I think that's a big piece.
eating healthy and getting the proper nutrients isn't as hard as it seems. By just planning your meals or finding healthy snacks, you can easily stay healthy too. With NAIT NewsWatch, I'm Sydney Peach.
Our own NAIT women's hockey team has been doing well this season, making their way to the championship round in the ACAC League.
And the basketball team is headed out to nationals next weekend.
That's right. The boys are off to my hometown, Fort McMurray, to try to bring home a national championship. But first, let's hit the ice. The Ukes women's hockey team is in the ACAC finals for the 4th straight year. They are taking on the Red Deer College Queens, a team who they have beat in the 3 previous championships, and are looking to make it 4. Game 1 ended with NAIT winning 2-1, so let's see how Game 2 went. Picking things up in the 3rd, with Red Deer already up 3-0, Nikki Connor fires one from the point, Kitchen picks up the loose puck in front of the net, and tucks it behind guard. This goal would chase her, allowing 4 goals on 21 shots, and replacing her is Shelby Audette. The Ukes try to get themselves back into the game with a little bit of the rough stuff, but the Queens answer back with a nice feed through the crease to Emily Swire, who slips the puck past Audette with her 2nd of the night to give RDC a 4-0 lead. The Ukes try to answer as Megan Goebel puts one over the glove of Jen West, ending her shutout. The Ukes didn't have enough to come back though, as they drop a lopsided 5-1 decision in Game 2 of their best-of-5 series. Here's Carlin Bowie on what they need to do moving forward.
This was just, I think, a game that brought us back to reality, and we were riding a 10-game win streak, but now we really got to just focus 2 more wins. It's really just a best of 3 going forward, so we just need 2 more wins to get that 4-peat.
As of taping on Friday afternoon, the series sits at 2-1 for the Red Deer College Queens after they won at home on Thursday night. Also, the men start off their playoff push this weekend because they had a bye in the first round. After a first-place finish in provincials last weekend, the NAIT Ukes men's basketball team has qualified for nationals, where they will be heading north to Fort McMurray next weekend. After an excellent season, the Ukes finished 2nd in the North Division. They went into the tournament in a good position, bringing them to the gold medal game, where they beat Medicine Hat by only 2 points.
We worked all year hard for this, but and our main goal was, everyone's goal is to win a national championship or win a provincial championship, but get to nationals, it's such a great feeling. And
now their sights are set on nationals, where they look to make a splash as the 4th-ranked team heading into next weekend. The Ukes take on the Mohawk Mountaineers in their first game of the tournament this Thursday at 6 p.m. 41 CFL hopefuls took to the field at Commonwealth Rec Center on Monday, looking to land a spot in this year's CFL National Combine. With a number of scouts from all over the league watching on, the players are looking to be on top of their game through all the different drills and tests they're being put through.
We need to obviously give the best that we can in order to be able to throw our names out there, to essentially gain a reputation, see who wants to look at us, who wants to take us, and who sees potential in us at this point right now.
Of all 41 players who were there, only 5 from the Edmonton Combine were invited to the National Combine this weekend in Toronto. They will try to stand out among the rest as the 2016 CFL Draft quickly approaches. For my End Zone Challenge this week, I went down to Capital Airsoft to learn how to play one of the most exhilarating sports out there. When I first showed up, Ben Holliday, an airsoft expert, had to teach me a couple things. 1, always wear a mask while in the field. Then, how to use a gun, how to load it, where the safety is, and eventually, how to shoot.
Profile, kind of, depending on where you want to hold it, the farther up the rifle you get more control.
Then it was into the field, where Ben taught me a hallway drill, and this is what it is.
3, 2, 1, go.
After that, Ben taught me a bit more about communication and moving together as a team. And then, it was time to play. For being my first time ever playing airsoft, I don't think I did too bad. I will definitely be coming back.
I'm not too sure if I would want to go play airsoft, but it did look fun.
Yeah, I think it looks a little bit too painful for me. I've done paintball, but it's a whole nother league.
It does hurt if you get hit in a certain specific area, but for the most part, I just had an amazing time, and I can't wait to get back.
All right, thanks, Ben.
All right, stay tuned, and we'll be right back after the break.
Coming up on entertainment, I go to Eastscape Edmonton. I check out Ethan Russell's Best Suite in the House, and I get an interview with Vikram Vij.
Pleasure.
Clothing sponsored by Elite Sportswear, bringing you 60 years of dedication. Hair sponsored by Rock Salon and Spa.
Service dogs can be an important managing a person's well-being. The Hope Heals Institute trains service dogs for people with PTSD and anxiety and other health concerns.
We met up with the charity to volunteer as dog trainers.
Sit. Yes.
We started off with walking the dogs, making sure they stayed close and focused on their handler. Then we did more advanced training, teaching Ladybug how to tuck out of the way. We could only be there for a couple of hours, but Hope Heals needs more volunteers to expand their services.
So we really need volunteers for puppy raising because these dogs, need to come from somewhere, and so we need some dedicated people who can raise these puppies up and come to these training classes and be able to be that important link to these working dogs. And then we also need volunteers to help with fundraising. Because
Hope Heals relies on public donations to operate. If you would like to get involved or donate, go to hopeheals.com or check out their Facebook page.
So Brian, apparently we had a celebrity chef on campus this past week.
Yes, we did. And we also had some people from our own station go and check out those new puzzle escape rooms. Our own Steve Watkins has that and more in this week's entertainment.
Thanks a lot, guys. And yes, you're right, NAIT was host to its own celebrity chef this week. And if you're a fan of Dragon's Den, you might look a bit familiar.
So, just to recap the whole evening, what's going to happen?
For this year's NAIT Hokanson Chef in Residence program, we hosted world-class Canadian chef Vikram Vij. Mr. Vij came to NAIT to impart his years of skill and technique to the culinary students over the course of the week. He understands that the culinary arts can be a difficult career path for many students and wanted to give back to the industry. And even though Mr. Vij has gained celebrity status in the past few years, he wants people to know where his focus lies.
TV shows are just little feathers in your hat. I mean, they don't mean anything for me personally. I'd rather just be in the kitchen, working the staff, working with the people, and loving that element of it. I'm not looking to be in the television side.
Mr. Vij has a number of restaurants across Canada and has been on TV shows like Dragon's Den and Top Chef Canada. Puzzle escape rooms have become all the rage these days, and with their growing popularity, me and a few other NAIT students decided to go see what all the fuss was about.
Okay, so maybe if we switch our two, then you switch your two.
Many of us like to think we can act cool under pressure, but with Escape, it puts those skills to the test. Escape is a new type of live-action puzzle game that challenges teams to put their problem-solving and communication skills to the test. Teams are placed in a specially themed room with a time limit and are challenged with how to get out. We tried the newest room, entitled Sinking Boat, in which the team was separated, and it's up to them, a couple of walkie-talkies, and some deductive reasoning to try to reunite before the boat sinks.
So basically we want people that come in here and have fun and then ultimately work together as a team and trying to provide team building skills.
Escape currently has 5 different themed rooms, including Back to the Future, Held Hostage, and the one I can't wait to try out, the horror-themed Samara Room. If you'd like to know more, go to www.escape.ca. This month, Festival Place welcomes the work of world-renowned rock and roll photographer Ethan Russell. Hosted at the gallery at 501 in Sherwood Park, Ethan Russell, Best Seat in the House is a photography collection showcasing the work of one of the best in the business. Russell became well known during the late 60s as the main photographer for the Rolling Stones, and later went on to shoot some of the greatest musicians of the day. Gallery curator Brenda Barry Byrne says one of the most influential aspects of Russell's career is how unique he was for the time.
He was the only photographer to actually do rock bands. This wasn't done before Ethan hit the grounds. They would be commissioned to do portraits of different people, but this is the first time somebody went on the road and actually shot images of bands on the road when bands were just starting to be known.
Some of the most iconic album covers of all time are attributed to Russell, including The Beatles, Let It Be, and The Who's Who's Next. The exhibit will be running until March 29th. If you'd like to know more about the exhibit, visit www.ethanrussell.com. Back in 2008, the monster movie Cloverfield hit theaters, and for years people talked about the possibility of a sequel. Well, for this week's movie preview, we take a look at the low-budget follow-up, 10 Cloverfield Lane. Set in a bomb shelter, the film starts with a girl named Michelle who wakes up injured and chained to a bed. She's then told by the mysterious survivalist Howard that she's been in an accident, and due to some unknown cataclysm, it's no longer safe outside. Along with fellow stranger Emmett, the three then do their best to survive inside the claustrophobic space of the shelter. It seems that Howard has charged himself with protecting the two from the dangers of the outside world and refuses to let them leave. Unfortunately, after a while, it doesn't seem like Michelle is all that interested in being saved. Starring Mary Elizabeth Winstead and John Gallagher Jr., this movie looks to be a pretty psychological, intense experience, with John Goodman taking a dramatic turn as the troubled Howard. Directed by newcomer Dan Trachtenberg and produced by Star Wars' own J.J. Abrams, 10 Cloverfield Lane debuted this Saturday and is in theaters now. I don't know about you, but I'm super excited for Crazy John Goodman. Well, that's it for this week's entertainment. Thanks for watching. I'm Steve Watkins. Brian and Chelsea, back to you.
Man, I don't know about you, but those escape rooms seem like they're pretty intense.
When he said the horror one, you can count me out. I do not like horror movies.
Yeah, I've been to the Breakout down by 170th Street, and we were locked in a room with four of us, backs together, and we're strapped in, and we have to get out somehow, and you can't look around.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult.
Okay, well, that's been this episode of NAIT NewsWatch. Thanks for joining us.